Go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another edition of the Sports Report Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. William D. Morgan. I got the whole crew with me right now. I got Seven with me. Dan's on his way. I see him backstage. We're going to go ahead and get the party started, guys. Let's go.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go.
All right. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing out there? We do have a new viewer, Jata. Thank you for being here. Thank you for checking out the show. Let me go ahead and bring the crew in real quick. First, this gentleman has forgotten more baseball than I will ever know. He's just like me. We can't stand them damn Astros. Let me bring my man Seven in. Seven, what's up?
Man, you are exactly right. Yeah. Fuck the Astros. That's a great way to start. I think that's a great way to start it off. I mean, fuck the Yankees more.
Yes.
But
the Astros are definitely on that list right behind them.
Yeah, very close.
All right, let me bring in this young man here who is the president of the LeBron James fan club. Let me bring my man Dan in. Dan, what's up? How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? It's acting CEO, but it's acting CEO of Legoat, the Legoat
LLC.
The Legoat fan club. Hey, it's funny. It's funny how you guys just like randomly hate the Astros and the Yankees. It's pretty common to hate greatness. When they're that, when they just get pounded in your face, World Series all the time, just get pounded in your face. I'm sure it's
Right.
it's probably
So the Yankees have achieved greatness, just like the Jags have achieved greatness because they made the playoffs a few years ago. Yeah, they only do it about once every 10 years. When was the last time the Yankees won the World Series? Oh, 2009. Okay.
Evan, I'm going to ignore the fact that you just compared the New York Yankees to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we're going to move on.
The Yankees are the Jaguars of baseball. I think that's a pretty accurate comparison.
Oh my goodness gracious! No, he didn't go there. Oh my goodness! All right, guys, we got some baseball to catch up on. Everything's kind of light in the NBA. LeBron came out with some highlights of his high school football playing days. We'll go over that. Also got some NFL news going down. Cut day, some situations that's going down. So let's go ahead and get started with the 7th inning stretch. And that's going to start right now.
I want to be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money.
Here's the thing, and I'm looking at it right now. The Yankees are 5-5 and lost their last 2.
Who did they lose their last 2 to? Do you see that? I want you to say it.
I'll just go ahead and say it. They lost to Oakland Athletics. And hey, hold on. Go ahead. I know what you're going to say.
One of the highest payrolls in baseball.
Who's higher than the? No, forget it.
There's a couple, but the Red Sox aren't hired. The Dodgers are hired. I think there's a couple of the teams. The Mets, the Mets are up there as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
But lost 2 games in a row. No, it wasn't in a row. It was 2 games out of a 4-game series. No, it was 2 games in a row. The A's, 2 games in a row to the lowest payroll in the league, $60 million. $60 million. Let's think about that for a second. The Oakland A's payroll for this year, $60 million. That's Patrick Mahomes and part of Travis Kelce's contract.
Damn.
Well,
and the Yankees lost to that.
No, he didn't go down.
I'll take my time. Done?
Yeah.
You good?
Will, so the guy that has forgotten more about baseball than you will ever know, and mostly because marijuana affects the memory.
True story.
That's most of the reason. There wasn't a whole lot there before, but no, he would know. He would know that payroll doesn't play a huge part in who wins the World Series these days. It really doesn't. It really doesn't now. I mean, it used to. Early 2000s, obviously, it did. It was in the late 90s, 2000s, 2010s. It has turned into you have to have a higher payroll, but it's not pivotal that you have a higher payroll.
You don't have to have a higher payroll.
You can't buy championships, basically. That's what I'm saying.
You can't buy championships, and you are 100% correct.
That is
the Yankees also can't win championships, and that is also true. Talking other baseball news today.
7.
Yeah.
If the Yankees were an NFL team, if they were in comparison, not to Jacksonville, they would be the Patriots and the Steelers combined. That's what you would call them.
I have a 12-year-old son. The Yankees have not won a World Series in the entire time that he's been alive.
That 2017 playoffs, I could have sworn that one of the biggest cheating scandals that ever happened, where Jose Altuve is running around on the field with a Morse code machine strapped to his chest. And we're going to talk about how they just couldn't pull that series off when the guys know the pitches from a Morse code machine. I mean,
Dan, you could be looking at a graphic of exactly where the pitch is going to go through the strike zone.
I'm swinging,
and you would still miss it 10 out of time.
I'm 10 out of 10 times. But you know what? I'm gonna look good though. Double forearm wristbands, and I'm every time I'm gonna go back and readjust my gloves and then just strike out. I'm gonna hit fucking 0. I'm gonna have like a 0.011 on base percentage. I'll get walked.
Lean Joey Gallo.
I'll get hit. I'll just lean in. I'll just get really close to the plate. That's the only way I ever crouch. It's the only way I ever get on. I'm like the Ricky Henderson of getting on base. Not getting on base. Joey Gallo.
So, Albert Pujols is inching ever closer to that 700 mark, including his home run today, because he did get a home run in the game that is currently still going, top of the sixth, 8-4 Cardinals over the Reds. He is now at, hold on, let me make sure I'm giving the right numbers. I want to say 694, but I want to make sure.
1294 OPS in his last 10 games. Highest OPS in a 10-game streak in his entire career. I want you guys to think about Albert Pujols' illustrious career. And Seven, I have a question for you. Are you ready to call Albert Pujols the greatest right-handed hitter that's ever lived?
No.
Who else you got?
Who would it be for you?
Yeah, who? I think they're still both playing right. I think they're still both playing right now, actually.
All right, Lizard, what's up?
Right-handed hitters are still playing right now.
Jata, how you doing?
Jata.
Well, okay, so in truth, now Albert Pujols is the greatest hitter in the modern game. I will say modern game, absolutely. But you're going to be hard-pressed to find somebody that's a better pure hitter than Pete Rose.
Since 2000 is what you're saying.
Yes, in the modern game. He is the best. But Pete Rose to me is always, it's going to be hard to usurp Pete Rose as the greatest pure hitter of all time because that dude was just ridiculous.
Rose is a lefty.
Yeah,
I said right.
He was a switch hitter.
Oh, he did switch. Okay, he
is a switch hitter. So I think pure right-handed hitter. It's going to be hard for me to find somebody that's better than Pujols. I'll definitely give you that.
Hank Aaron had longevity. Great hitter. Don't get me wrong. Statistically, Hank Aaron is the greatest right-handed hitter of all time. Statistically.
What do you guys have Tony Gwynn?
Top five. I bet he's a lefty. I would say he's the best left-handed hitter of all time for sure.
Dude, no. Seven, come on. We know who the greatest left-handed hitter of all time is. His name is Barry Bonds, and he is the greatest left-handed hitter of all time. I don't even think there's a conversation that's being had.
Home run hitter, yeah, I'll give you Barry Bonds, but hitter, Tony Gwynn.
Craig agrees with me. Craig Newton, whose opinion that we should be taking into absolute, like, on the top of our list of opinions that we should count in this.
Craig's also been around baseball so long, he remembers when the balls were still rocks.
Right. He's a homer. He's a homer. He's a San Francisco homer.
Oh yeah,
he is. But
you got Gwynn in top five.
Pure hitters.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
No. Just because, dude, I can name you 5 guys off the top of my head that I think are better than Tony Gwynn. Only because Tony Gwynn's power numbers aren't where the rest of these guys are.
That's true. That's true.
Hitter for average, he's in the top 5.
Average and consistency.
Name me 5 off the top of my head.
Okay.
Barry Bonds.
Got an Aaron Judge fan. Got an Aaron Judge fan right there.
Aaron Judge is a bad motherfucker. He obviously needs to do a lot more to be in like any kind of list like that. But
in that conversation, yeah.
Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, Miguel Cabrera,
Cabrera,
Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
And let me think of number 5. There's definitely a 5th one. I mean, honestly, Alex Rodriguez. I mean, numbers wise.
Wait, what? You would put A-Rod ahead of Tony Gwynn? Are you serious?
How
many of those guys hit 338 over the course of their entire career?
How about Ted Williams? Ted Williams did.
Ted Williams is close. I would entertain Ted Williams before I would entertain fucking A-Rod.
A-Rod is a career 290 hitter.
Tony Gwynn's a career 338.
But Tony Gwynn had like 200 and some home runs. He had like just over 1,000 RBIs. He's not even in the same league RBI and power wise. He's not even in the same league as these guys. That's why I'm counting him. I am discounting Tony Gwynn because the power numbers were not there. Lead hit, like he
wasn't a power hitter.
Yeah, he was never a power hitter.
You have to have
a power hitter.
To be the best, you have to have it all. Barry Bonds was an average hitter, hit for average, and hit for power. Correct?
Yes.
Career 298 average. He had fucking something stupid. I think his career on base percentage is over 385 or something like that. It's stupid high. Albert Pujols hits for average, won a couple NL batting titles, hit 338 one year. Paul Goldschmidt, I'm not putting Paul Goldschmidt in there, but like Paul Goldschmidt is would be an example of a power and an average guy.
You're putting so much weight on the long ball. It's a typical Yankees fan move, by the way. But there are.
What's the goal in baseball, Tony? To score runs on offense, correct? We're talking about hitters.
To score runs, right? But you can score runs just by getting hits.
What about Trout, guys?
You get
Trout's in the top 10.
There's my number 5 right there, Mike Trout. Mike Trout's better all around. Okay, player wise, because he's so good defensively too. He's a 5-tool. Like he was like almost one of the first, not one of the first, but like the prototypical 5-tool guys. What you look like, 2009 when Mike Trout came in, like that was the guy who could do it all. So I'm not hitter wise. I think hitter wise, he's in the top 10, honestly. Numbers wise, if you go advanced metrics, Mike Trout is one of the top 5 greatest hitters of all time right now. If you go advanced metrics, he's got the highest WAR in MLB history. So, I mean, I can't, I am a fan of the long ball, 7. You're right. I am discounting, like I'm putting a lot of stock in it because it matters, especially like modern, like in the 80s and stuff when Wynn played, it was more about obviously hitting for average and like more small ball was being played. So like, I'll give you that. Right.
So you count his era against him?
No, not at all. I don't think he could have ever hit 500 home runs. Tony Gwynn's not in today's game is not hitting 500 home runs.
No. Not
so yeah, he was never a power hitter. And you have to, I think you have to be able to hit for average and for power. I think obviously, like I said, for hitting for average, Tony Gwynn, dude, is in the top 5. If you're just going to go hit for average, get on base, like consistently, Tony Gwynn's numbers are absolutely outrageous. Really. They're outrageous. But he didn't hit for power. He did not drive in run. He did drive in runs, but he didn't drive in, 3-4 hole hitter runs. Got like over 1,000 RBIs in his career. I don't know exactly Gwynn's. I might be misquoting his stats a little bit, but they're lower.
He had 1,138 RBIs over his career. 3,141 hits. And you were actually giving him a little credit with home runs because he only had 135 career home runs.
Wow, see,
I 135 total. Yeah,
and I understand what you're saying, but the truth of the matter is that it's not just about the long ball, and I want to remind you putting so much weight on the long ball is what got the Yankees in trouble last year. That's why the Yankees got to look at the playoffs. They got to hang out at a wild card game. But they didn't get to actually make an impact because they had so much impact on the long ball. And all of the changes that they made, the players that they've gotten rid of slowly but surely
are good for them.
Then and now are good for them, but they are not just relying on the long ball anymore because they realize that is to the detriment of the organization. Tony Gwynn did exactly what was asked him to and then some. Some of the greatest pitchers in the game's history feared Tony Gwynn. You're going to tell me that Greg Maddux will single out Tony Gwynn above all of the hitters that he faced. And it's Greg fucking Maddux. But you're going to sit there and pull Tony Gwynn back like that. Now, these players that you guys mentioned, I'm not saying that they're not great players, but as far as pure hitters are concerned in baseball, Tony Gwynn is the best.
Barry Bonds has twice as many RBIs. Barry Bonds has twice as many RBIs and I think probably less seasons than Tony Gwynn, and has 5 times as many home runs. Better on base percentage, more walks. Pure hitter, if you're just going to go like who can slap a ball and like who can place a ball or who can hit away from a shift, probably Tony Gwynn. But all around, I can't even do it. I can't even put him in, honestly, all around, I wouldn't even put him in my top 10 because I know that there's guys that can do it both. They can do both.
Real quick.
Because you're putting a lot of value on
RBIs, like scoring runs. Yeah.
Oh, and for Ohtani, Ohtani and Trout both, I think, are going to be gone from the Angels after the season.
Yeah, I think so too. Particularly Ohtani.
But I don't know though, because one of the things you have to remember, if Art Moreno is looking to sell the team, because he has been exploring that, one of the things that we're going to see is some of those high value guys like Trout and Ohtani aren't going anywhere, because losing those players specifically
will kill the sale.
Now I could see Trout before Ohtani, because Ohtani is such a generational player.
Trout will go first.
But I don't think either one of them moves until after the organization sells.
Dude, yeah. How, as the Angels, dude, how could you ever let Shohei Ohtani walk out the door? Like, how do you ever do that?
I don't think they're going to have a choice.
Lock him up, dude. Like, you have to lock that guy up long term. Pay him whatever he wants, bro. Give him Bryce Harper money, more than that.
Honestly,
keys to the kingdom.
Yes. I don't think there is a price for him. And I think it's because of the organizational issues. Now, whoever the new ownership is when the Angels sell, they might be able to get lucky and you know, have to plant a money tree in his backyard. But with the issue, I think the reason why Shohei is going to leave the Angels is the same reason why Soto wanted out of Washington so bad. And Trout as well getting out of the Angels. It is an organizational issue. It's not just about wins and losses and the guys that I'm sitting next to in the dugout. This is an organizational problem that the Angels have, and I think that's why Moreno has realized that he has to sell the team, because otherwise they're going to lose both of them, and the Angels are going to be sitting farther down at the bottom of the league than the fucking Diamondbacks.
Right. And Seven, we've talked about this. Like, Will, think about this. The Major League Baseball is one of the only professional sports leagues where the team is actually more important than the individual, right? Because it really...
Hey, KW, real quick, man. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you stopping by as always.
Hey, Deb.
Do you think, KW? Do you think?
Pinfall's biggest fan.
We'll see.
Number one pinfall. I want to get a shirt that just has his tagline on it, and it just has number one fan, like with one of the foam fingers.
There you go.
Just sell them. And then on the back it says "Fuck you, Dan."
Appreciate you coming through though, KW. Man.
Me and him always go back and forth on chats when we're watching pinfall stuff. It's hilarious.
And you're exactly right though, Dan. It's an organizational issue, and that's why I think I think that new ownership might have the ability to recover it a little bit. I think there's a better chance of new ownership getting Shohei signed to a long-term deal and possibly not losing Mike Trout. But
so Seven, I think about the tiers of organizations too. Like, obviously Boston, the Yankees, probably Houston is a new member, right? I would say this is first tier franchise, like, organizations, right?
Yeah, Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Astros are up there. Dodgers and Mets. Steve Cohen's doing a lot of great things with the Mets, so I've got to put him up there.
But I got to put Mets in the second tier. But obviously, being in New York, they are a incredibly famous organization.
Yes.
I probably still put them in the second tier, though. I don't think that they have the clout that Boston and New York does. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think
clout-wise, I'll give you that. But I'm just saying, like, quality of the organization, they're definitely top tier.
But I think the Angels were in that second tier for so long because they're historical Angels in the outfield, historical franchise. Obviously, so many good players have came through there. Like, it's been, and it's in LA. It's like, it's a hotbed. But like, they're falling, dude, out of that second tier, I think.
Art Moreno bought that team to make it a championship contender. And they are to the Dodgers what the Clippers are to the Lakers. The little brother that loses a lot more.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
And you'll see some talent in the organization. You'll see some sparks of good seasons. But the one thing that the Angels have lacked in Art Moreno's tenure is consistency.
Right. And dude, how we've talked about this ad nauseum. How do you have arguably two of the top 5 talents, not just in Major League Baseball right now, but generationally? Yes, generational talent.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I've laid it on Mike Trout on this show. I've laid it on Mike Trout's back on this show and just said that Mike, I don't know what you're doing, but like, I don't feel like for some reason, but baseball's so individual sport though too. Like you're up there by yourself at the plate, like, yes, it's a team sport. Like you play together on defense, but like you're up there at the plate by yourself. And like, I don't know how much I didn't play baseball because had a little strikeout, a bit of a strikeout problem.
If only you would have learned how to pitch, you'd have been fine. But
I did pitch, didn't know where it was going. I could throw the ball, throw the shit out of the ball. Didn't know where it was a wild thing. But
yeah.
But
Matt
I don't know how
Barnes has that problem.
Fucking Josh Hader has that problem right now.
Yeah, Josh Hader. Oh yes, he does. Ugh.
But yeah, I forgot what we're talking about now. God damn it! You talk about Josh Hader. He was so dirty 3 years ago. He was the dirtiest reliever in just filthy stuff, and he has completely lost it. Completely lost it. It's a mental thing, right?
I think this is mental for him. I think, and when we see, and I think that Soto's exit from the Nationals is a testament to how bad that organization is. That is the bottom. That is bottom tier of ownership. It's up there in DC.
With the A's. With the A's.
The A's, the Diamondbacks, the Nationals, and the Pirates.
Yes. Yep. And then, dude, and so much talent, and the Reds kind of at this point, and like the weird thing,
they clawed their way down there with their fucking comments at the beginning of the year,
right? And how much talent the Reds have.
Yeah, arguably.
They just
Joey
don't
Votto,
do anything. They wasted Joey Votto's entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Juan Soto didn't want to end up like Joey Votto, basically.
Yep. That's
just being fucking bottom feeding.
And here's the thing. So, think about this. When Soto's exit from the Nationals, one of the things that we saw was there was a belief, because he turned down a 15-year deal,
440
over $440 million a year over the course of the 15 year. He turned that
down. That's a lot of money.
And the belief was, and this was even supposedly what was put out by the Nationals, was that if you're going to trade for him,
for that?
But the word put out by that time that was from the Nationals, several sources were reporting this. If you wanted to be able to trade for Soto and sign him, you had to be able to offer him 15 years and $540 million.
Yeah.
But now that he's out of Washington, he's playing pretty decently considering
consistently.
And he's doing well consistently. I'm not saying he's like superstar status, but he's doing well. And we haven't seen a deal. He may ride out his 2 years. He may see what happens.
Yeah, bro. I don't think
he's a lot more comfortable now that he is out of that organization.
Yep.
Him and his agent were just up there just fucking making outrageous claims. Like they were just like, we want 1.7 trillion over 38 years. And they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? He was like, 1.1 billion. We want $1 billion over 5. And they were like, what? Like, oh, so we just have to trade you? And they're like, yes. And then when he leaves, he's like, oh, see you motherfuckers. Just kidding. I'll take 15 for 440 in fucking San Diego. Just getting the fuck out of this place.
Give me the hell out of here,
more.
Please.
He'll get more, because that 15 for 440 was just shy of $40 million a year on average, and that deal was super front loaded in the first 8. So he'll get. I mean, if he's signing a 15-year deal, it will be over $500,000.
$500 million,
regardless of the organization. It'll be, it would be over $500 million.
My question to you, Seven, is my last question. Shohei. So we just talked about Juan Soto's gonna get $500 million. Okay, he's gonna get that Pat Mahomes money.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to give Shohei Ohtani $750 million.
No,
you don't, because of longevity. Because he's already how old is he? He's already in his late 20s.
Yeah,
Soto's 23.
He'll still get a 10-year deal. And the thing that you have to remember is that because he is playing both sides, like Babe Ruth, the last 4 years of that deal, you're expecting him to be a DH, and that's it.
But he's going to get $660 million over 10 years.
He'll 400.
How are you going to pay him less than Juan Soto gets paid? He's going to want the most money that's ever been paid to a Major League Baseball player in one deal.
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
No. And I think that because part of this is going to be a cultural thing, there is a point where it becomes too much about that, because especially even within Japanese culture, You want to get yours, but you're also but not at the detriment of the organization.
10 years,
And I
400
think
is less than Bryce Harper got.
But
That's less than Bryce Harper got.
I'm telling you, I would 10-year deal. It'll be under a half a bill. We'll say 450, 475, somewhere in there. I'll up that a little bit. I think 400. You're right. That is a little low, but he won't go over 500 million for a 10-year deal.
Interesting. All right.
I
think somebody's going to roll out the truck for that dude. Somebody's going to roll out the truck for that motherfucker.
I think if he wants that, he'll get it. If he wants 60 million a year, he'll get it.
Yeah.
But I think that the team that's going to get him is going to go, we'll give you 45, 450 million over 10 years. His agent's going to go, hey, if they're offering this, we can counter with a half a bill.
Right.
And then they'll go back and forth and they'll end at like 475.
Right. Will, do you know? Go ahead. What you're going to say? Because I'm going to say something about it.
I'm about to say the money in baseball is just sick. I think I got my son in the wrong sport. Oh,
absolutely. Have your kids play baseball. Everybody have your kids be good at baseball.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. The great thing about baseball is, you don't see a lot of baseball players suffering from CTE. Well, I mean, there was that one guy that Nolan Ryan punched in the head like 9 times.
Remember that?
No way.
I remember that. Yeah.
You don't want to get punched in the face 9 times by Nolan Ryan. It just I'm good on that. But outside of guys like that, you don't see CTE. Maybe some arm surgeries.
Worst thing.
If you're a pitcher, one arm ends up longer than the other from all the throwing.
Catchers' knees are like the worst part. I think that's the worst thing.
Yeah.
Like that's just and just normal, just like wear and tear that you take as a catcher. Like you get hit all the time and stuff. That's like the worst.
Knees in general. Knees. Yeah, and that's knees and elbows.
You get in the outfield.
Are your worst.
I mean, you get in the outfield outside of hitting the wall. You would be
actually. There was a guy that earlier this year ended up missing a while because he went into a wall really hard and. He got rocked, like his shoulder, like I think it was a broken collarbone. His shoulder was all messed up. Like there was a guy that took that earlier. And yeah, you'll see stuff like that, but it's one of the reasons why the walls are padded so well. But that dude was booking when he hit that wall. Most of those guys, they will
pull up,
they will pull up, jump so that they're
good outfielders.
Right.
Good outfielders. But with the money thing though, think about it. 162 games, dude. If you average median like 10,000 fans per game over 162. That's 1.62 million people that come to your game, right? No fucking way are there, even with 75,000 sold out games in the NFL, you're getting to 300, 400,000 maximum, right? And TV deals, 162 games versus 16, even though the NFL is getting way more viewership, the MLB just spreads it out. They're like, yeah, we'll take a tenth. We'll take a tenth of what gets watched by an NFL game because we're just going to bleed this in.
Yep. And that's that's exactly what it is. All of that sponsorship money they get because it's 162 games.
Beautiful.
And you've got these guys running 9 months a year. One of the most interesting impacts in baseball, and Dan and I are going to do a very big deep dive on Thursday night into the announcement today that the MLBPA is starting the process to unionize minor league players. There are currently 5,000. This covers 5,000 minor league players potentially that are currently making somewhere between $9,000 and $14,000 a year to play professional baseball. So. That's the average wages for minor leaguers. Yeah.
That ain't no money.
Poverty wages. Yeah. These guys that and a lot of this process was boosted. There was a lawsuit that was completed recently in California where the league lost $185 million that's going to go to players for things like overtime wages and stuff like that. California basically dropped the hammer on them. The actual the U.S. Senate is investigating Major League Baseball and for their tax exemption status that is up in the air now, and exploiting their minor league players, the minor league system.
Who do they think they are? The Catholic Church? Tax exempt shit. But here's the fucked up part, and we've talked about this.
Damn.
A dude who comes over in a raft from Cuba doesn't understand that $14,000 in America isn't a lot of money, and
exactly
the Major League Baseball take advantage of that, and that is fucked up. That's super.
It is. It really is.
There
It
is,
really is.
you know, these guys, and what's interesting is the players, the problems. If you want to learn more about what it was like for players in the early days of baseball, I'm talking 1950 and before. Well, the Players Union started 67, I believe. So, we'll say, optimistically, 1950 and before. These players were paying to take care, had to buy their own equipment to do their job.
Mhm.
Bats, helmets. They had to pay for and launder their own uniforms. They didn't have clubhouse staff that took care of that for them. Transportation, all of these things that the team should be taking care of, especially with the money that was coming in. The league wasn't the teams weren't taking care of the players properly, and so that's why they unionized the whole thing. That's why the MLB players unionized. So now, if we look at minor league baseball currently, that's what these guys deal with. They don't have very good, they don't get health insurance outside of what the team doctors can do, which is honestly very little if it's not something that was obtained during a game. The ability to get help with equipment. Think about it this way. This is the first year these guys have not had to pay for their own housing and hotel rooms when they travel.
Nuts.
Amazing.
Do you know how stupid that is?
That's dumb.
It's ridiculous.
That's dumb. That's
when Dan and I dive into this on Thursday, my good buddy, he also is a co-host on the winter meetings. Stephen Weaver is going to be with us.
What?
Because
awesome.
he spent quite a bit of time in the minors. Buddy of mine that actually used to be in the Braves. Was a buddy of mine that was actually in the Braves minor league system. I am trying to get him to join us. I think he's going to be on to talk about it. And I'm looking for anybody else that is currently or used to be a minor league player that would be down to throw their opinion in on this, because we would love to educate people on everything that the players have been facing and what we want to see change with this process. So if you know anybody, send them our way. Would love to talk to them.
Tone, you're in luck, because the town of Falls City, Nebraska, population of 4,000, has had a ton of minor league baseball players. Let me tell you about it.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm kidding. They've had none. There's not one that has ever lived here. No. Steven Strasburg, though, this is a random stat we're just talking about. Steven Strasburg will make more money this year than Yasiel Puig made in 8 seasons as a professional baseball player. Just wrap your head around that for a second.
Okay. All right, guys.
A Cuban Yasiel Puig. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
1 year. Steven Strasburg hasn't played for like 2 years.
Jesus.
All right, guys. We got some NBA talk to get into. Not a whole heck of a lot, but a few things we need to get into.
Bron.
Dan, you are up. Let's go ahead and get started with the hardwood.
One thing I don't know what. Oh, sorry.
Yes. I tried so hard. I just keep waiting for Chester Bennington.
I know.
Chester Bennington to bust in on the end of that.
Bust in on the end of that thing.
I wonder who picked that song, Josie.
All right, guys. We got Pat Bev taking a trade to the LA Lakers. And I want to get Dan's opinion, because it looks to be, after he called Westbrook trash the last time they played, now they're teammates. How do you think they go get along, Dan?
Do you know? Do you know anything about like abstract painting, Will? Like anything about painting abstractly?
Mm-hmm.
This is what Jeannie Buss and the Lakers organization are doing right now. They're just throwing paint, or they're just throwing paint at a canvas and calling it a Jackson Pollock painting is what they're doing. They're calling it a masterpiece. They're just like, you know what? They're like, what's the most that we could do to just fuck everything up? They were like,
yeah, man.
And one guy was like, trade for Russell Westbrook, and they were like, he's already here. They're like, trade for Pat Beverly. Got it. You're on it, bud. Give that guy a promotion.
There is some. I wanted to get your take on this, Dan, because there is some speculation that the Lakers may actually just sit Russ because of the fact that they got Pat Bev. So they're going to pay him, but nobody wants to take him. They'd rather just eat. Nope, go home.
No,
offer a buyout, something like that. You think they're gonna? You think they would try to do something like that, or do you think he's he's starting day one.
No, he's starting day one, dude. The Los Angeles Lakers are an absolute. They're an epitome of what that city is. Like they are Hollywood now. It's just how it's like a car crash. How long can you take your eyes off of it? Because it is going to be an absolute. It's going to be a thriller, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a thriller. They turn the lights down in Staples. Well, sorry, Crypto.com Arena now. The Crypt. They turn the lights down like
exactly. That's a good
like
name.
The court is the stage.
Quick.
Like the court is the stage, right? And they're really gonna put on a carnival. It's gonna be a carnival, and there's gonna be an elephant, right? And there's gonna be like, they're just gonna have every time they're gonna have one of those little Japanese girls that like can like do like handstands on like a bunch of balls and shit.
Hey, leave them Asians alone.
Awesome,
leave them Asians alone. I love them Asians.
Enthralling. That shit's awesome.
Them Asians are amazing, man.
God, they probably vastly underpay those women too.
Man,
for just like
a couple.
I watched one of them climb like 60 bowls. They were literally just like ceramic bowls, and she was like on a fucking unicycle on some bowls, and she was like balancing them on her head and shit. And I'm like, how much does she have to practice for that $14 that she just made? But, like a lot. The answer is too much practice. The answer is too much for $14. That's the answer.
Here's my thing though, because I know they were also talking about getting Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, but you just let THT go. So,
dude, THT is terrible, bro. I'm telling you right now. I watched
He's terrible.
Like he was so hyped, and it's because he had like a 7'4" wingspan. Like literally his hands hung down to like his knees and stuff. And like he had the physical tools, but the dude has absolutely no dog in him. And I hate to like talk about guys like this. Like he has no dog in him. He tries to be something that he's not. He should just defend and take shots that when he gets them, right? Like just let the game come to you is like should be his motto. And he's out there trying to do between the legs. The dude cannot handle a ball. Like he does nothing well. He does everything okay and nothing well, which will make you just blend like Evan Turner into the stratosphere of the NBA. Who exactly? Somebody who they think is going to like Evan Turner shoots one fadeaway every year that people are like, dude, Evan Turner could be good. And then it's like, no, he's just not. He just doesn't continuously do it. That's
the thing that kills me about THT. He got to have the ball in his hand, and when you're a Laker, that's just as a Laker that's not going to happen.
And why, dude? And he can't even handle the ball for real. Like he needs to just he needs to take on Sean Marion's mindset and just. You know what I'm saying? Like Sean Marion, Anton Jameson. Anton Jameson would be a good guy for him to study, honestly, because Anton Jameson was just there, offensive rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Like take a couple alley-oops every once in a while, just be there, play defense, and stop trying to do spin moves 35 feet from the fucking basket. Like, what are you doing? We have guys that can actually do that, THT. You come in for 14 fucking minutes. You come in for 14 fucking minutes. You act like it's a goddamn audition. You act like you're still playing in the ABA. And it's an audition. You're playing for the Louisville Skyrockets, and you're trying to
Skyrocket.
You know who THT? You know where THT would be perfect. I just thought about this. You know, Slam Ball's coming back next year.
Oh, he could just do the Jordan from Space Jam move.
The Jordan from Space Jam and be done.
He can reach all the way out. Keep stretching and saves the world. Saves the world. He's the Slam Ball MVP.
I'm putting it down right now. THT is going to be the year one. You know, the first year they return, THT's MVP. I'm putting it down right now.
I was gonna say, what are odds on that? Because I bet he's not even the favorite. He's not even the favorite. There's some slam ball guy who played linebacker at fucking Kentucky or something. Who's just out there just beefing people. He can't even dribble. Takes like 2 dribbles and just jumps off the trampoline and just drills guys. Like that's all slam ball is. It's great. It's
the Derrick Henry of slam ball. It just dives into the air and stiff arms people as he dunks it.
Right. But I don't know. Because now that you let him go. You let Stanley Johnson go. Stanley wasn't gonna catch on.
Yeah,
no, he wasn't gonna catch on.
Defend.
Yeah, that's about it. So now, what do the Lakers do at this point?
Telling you, man, they just cut a hole in the paint can and throw it at it, or drop it off like a bridge, and then they just call it fucking art. Is what they're doing right now. They're just gonna call it art.
Oh my goodness!
Where they hang the paint can from like the string and then they push it.
Yep.
That's what they're doing.
Genie, here's the thing. Here's exactly what it is. They are hoping that Pat Bev is enough of a distraction that people stop paying attention to how many times per game Russell Westbrook makes a decision so bad. You know, how many times they're trying to cover up how many times Westbrook makes a decision so bad that Skip Bayless actually starts to laugh.
And they're trying to distract from the fact that Anthony Davis is just trying to date LeBron. He makes regular advances towards LeBron.
Do you guys remember when the Lakers played the Timberwolves and Westbrook put up a three? It was like a serious brick. And like Karl Anthony Towns was looking around like this, and then Pat Bev was like going around trash. Yeah, well, now you got to.
Have you heard some of the quotes that Pat Beverly has said about the Lakers last year?
Yeah,
he was analyzing and stuff, dude.
He said that if he was on that roster, it would be a championship team.
Awkward.
In May of this year, Pat Bev said that if he was on that roster, they would have gone to the NBA championship.
He said that on what? He said that on Get Up, didn't he?
It was an ESPN show.
It was an ESPN show. I think it was Get Up. It could have been Get Up on First Take.
It was First Take with
Get Up.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was on there. He was on there for like 2 months, and he was very enthralling. He was entertaining.
He was great to watch. I could see him as a future in broadcasting for sure.
Very honest. Very honest.
His offensive game is trash.
Yeah, he's horrible,
dude. Will, he's not a good basketball player. I actually said this on After Dark, dude. I said if Pat Beverly was in the studio with us right now, I would tell him to his face, I don't think he's a good basketball player, but I respect the fuck out of him because he's just a dog, dude.
Yeah,
just a dog.
Yeah,
he just works hard. He shouldn't be in the NBA. He should be playing street ball, literally in New York. He should be like making money playing in a different professional league that's not the NBA. But because he's such a dog, dude, and like has this attitude that he will not be beaten and that chip on his shoulder is huge, like he stays in the NBA, and it's amazing to me. And I respect the shit out of that dude.
I think a lot of his impact is in what he says and how he is what he says on the court. You know, the enforcer type guy, and how he is in the locker room. I think it's that above anything else.
He's a leader through example. He's a leader through example because if I can see that, obviously other guys that he plays with can see it too. The fact that he is a dog. Like that's how he stays in the NBA. And they probably go, well, shit, man, like I have all this talent. Like, how can I combine my talent with being that dog and be better? You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's how they look at him because 100%. He's an underdog, dude. He's the underdog.
Yeah. The very definition of it.
Yes. And so
his offensive game is trash.
He is terrible. He is terrible. He is a liability. Dude, I'm going to go ahead and say he's a liability defensively too. I said this last week. He's a liability defensively. The only thing he does is foul people. He's dirty. Yeah. He's dirty. He talks shit, gets in people's heads, and that works. It works when you do it correctly. He's like a Draymond Green. He's like 6'3" Draymond Green, basically.
Yeah.
They can't pass because Draymond's actually a pretty good passer.
He is. A couple other things just going down. Gallinari from the Celtics. He has a torn meniscus playing for Italy. And Gary Harris, the Magic's Gary Harris used to be with the Nuggets, has a torn left meniscus. And Chet Holmgren, the talented rookie, is going to miss the whole 22-23 season with a foot injury. So I don't want to sit here and misjudge anybody, but Seven, you brought it up best. He needs to gain about 20 pounds more muscle.
At least 20 pounds of muscle.
He can do it. I don't think he can do it, though.
He needs to make progress in this year. With the fact that he's going to be down, he might be able to actually work on it a little bit more since he's not going to be so up and active with the surgery that he had to get.
Right.
But he needs to put on, at a minimum, 20 pounds of muscle before he is going to be able to do what they expect him to do in the NBA.
You ever had a friend who's like that, dude? I have a buddy. Yeah. I have a buddy who's like, he's like 6'4", and I watch this guy eat 6-7 times a day and just garbage fucking food, dude. Just
I got a coworker like that. This one game,
Sonic extra long cheese conies and fucking fries and shit, just shoving in his mouth, and he cannot gain a fucking pound, dude. Not a joke. Just doesn't stays rail skinny, right? And I think Chet Holmgren has that type of body type. What is it? It's an ectomorph or whatever they call it. It's like where you literally just can't, like you just can't gain weight. And obviously when you're stretched out to 7'2", doesn't help. Do you understand?
Yeah, it don't help.
Yeah, because he's 7 foot, so
it doesn't help.
It doesn't, but there's a lot of expectations around Holmgren, especially as the number 2 pick. And to get the results that are, that come with that level of expectation, and that's what I'll say, he's got to put on muscle.
Yep, he needs
because otherwise, because Oklahoma needs him to be a more physical player. And if you look at his college career, while he did get some decent results that warranted the number 2 consideration, I don't think he was a number 2 quality, but that's just me. There were multiple times throughout his college career where he came up small in big moments. And part of that comes from his lack of it's not just about how tall he is. There's got to be some physicality to that size.
Right.
And because that's what makes guys bounce off of you and have to go a different direction instead of being able to just roll off of you because there's no force there to make them change direction.
And clearly in like those ABA leagues and not ABA, what's the under
G League?
No, the under, I think it's not the ABA. You know what I'm talking about. It's not the G League, but it's like the Drew, it's like a Drew League, but it's for like high schoolers. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of it for some reason. But yeah.
17U or whatever it is.
And those
AAU. That's what it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good call. The NBA guy, I did get it there at the end, but thanks for the assist, Will. But yeah. Hey, 1-1 for the NBA guy.
There we go.
But he in those games, you can just stand back and you can block guys. He made some ridiculous blocks, like when he was in high school. He won the FIBA World Championship MVP as the best player at the World Championship.
Because he was a foot taller than anybody he played against.
Not true. There was a lot of college players, a lot of guys that got drafted were in that. That's the creme de la creme, bro. He played against and at Gonzaga, he played against the top of level of competition. So like,
no, I'm talking about in high school.
But the FIBA World Championships, though, that's all the best high school players. So
yeah.
18 and under those guys.
All right.
All the world champions.
He's playing guys. He's playing guys his size. Yeah.
It's like the Olympics of
he's playing guys his size. Yeah.
But he can. But physicality wise, those guys are still 17 years old, 18 years old, right? He's going to start playing with dudes who are grown men, like dogs, big.
Who gotta get a check? Who gotta get a check?
Dudes who aren't going to just be like, oh yeah, you can absolutely reach over my hand when I'm shooting and block me. That's fine. They're coming right through that motherfucker. They don't care. They don't care
exactly.
Whatever, coming right through it. Like, and he's gonna have to put on some weight. But the only hope I'll give him, Will, is Dirk Nowitzki. His first year in the NBA, still averaged 17 and 6, but got thrown the fuck around. Kobe Bryant said that he was not going to be able to make it because he thought that he was just going to get bitched basically his entire career. And Kobe had to eat his words a couple years later and said that, hey, that's obviously I was wrong, but so that it can happen. But I think what we're looking at here is Kristaps Porzingis. I think we're looking at a worse version of Kristaps Porzingis, which I actually like Kristaps Porzingis, but he's not a number 2 overall pick.
No.
And I'm not saying there is some talent with Holmgren and what he can do. And that's what, just like in college, he put up some decent numbers, but for what is going to be expected of him in the position that he plays, and especially with what Oklahoma City is expecting of him, he needs to be able to put his foot into somebody's ass. And right now, if he tries to put his foot into somebody's ass, he's going to end up inside it.
And I think the thing that Oklahoma City was trying to recapture was that Kevin Durant type of vibe. But there's an issue with that because Kevin can put the ball on the floor better than Chet can put the ball on the floor. He's better on the perimeter. He can also block shots better, and that part will come with time with Chet, I think. But in terms of,
he's not a power forward. He's going to be more of Chet Holmgren is more of a true center. Yeah,
he's got to be a true center, or he's got to adjust his game to be a 3 because he's not going to be. He can't even be a 4.
He's going to be a wing. He's going to be a wing forward in the NBA, guys. He's going to guard a wing player, probably 6'7", 6'8", who isn't their strongest guy. Defensively, he's going to be versatile because he can move. He's got great feet. He's 7 foot tall. He's got a 7'6" wingspan. Like defensively, he's going to be okay. He's right. But if we think DeAndre Ayton gets thrown around, DeAndre gets thrown around sometimes. Have you seen that dude?
A little bit more. I think he is a little bit more solid. I think he could get 5-10 pounds more muscle. I think that would help him out too.
I don't don't think Aiton's problem is his strength, though. I think
no,
Aiton's
it's his
problem is-
physicality.
I think it's mentality. Yeah.
top. He wants to be a 2, I think, and
He wants to be
was
something that he's not.
yes,
And
which
I think Jaren Jackson with the Grizzlies is sort of kind of in the same boat. He wants to
That's
be
fair.
something that he's not. And it's
Right.
like, I don't understand. Play your strength. Aiden's strength is his size and his mobility. Use it.
look at that reoccurring theme we just went through. Will Taylor Horton Tucker, be yourself. Let the game come to you. Don't try and be somebody you idolized growing up. Don't try and do these things. Like I thought I was Reggie Bush in high school, bro. I thought I was Reggie Bush. I tried to like, dude, I had the half sleeve going. You know what I'm talking about? Like the half down sleeve. And like I would try like full speed, stop on the sideline, go back, right? I wasn't Reggie Bush, clearly, right? And it actually affected my game negatively. Okay. My job was run between the tackles and get 2.5 yards. And if we get 2.5 yards every time, yay, first down, and yay, high school football, right?
There you go.
I'm not Reggie Bush out there at Helix, just like 60-yard runs, running for 340 in a game, blah, blah, blah. Like that, averaging
3 touchdowns on special teams.
16 yards. Yeah, taking punt returns to the house. Like they would drop 2 safety guys for Reggie Bush, like 2 half safety guys. Just drop 2 half safety guys because he's going to get back there. So you might as well not have the punter back by himself. Just have somebody else back there. Just play him like full court, like soccer.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just be yourself as an NBA player because you have to take every little tiny little millimeter inch you can get in this league. It is
for sure.
If you get an open shot, get that fucker up. Don't be trying to fucking do hook shots and shit. That's for Braun. Braun can fuck around because he's a little bit better than everybody else, and the other guys are a little bit better than everybody else, right? But the guys who are like this, be yourself, and you can be great.
Yep.
But you're not going to be not everybody's a transcendent talent. There's what, 3 or 4 of them right now in the NBA.
3 or 4 of them right now.
Transcendent.
Yep.
Out of all those players, there's 3 or 4 guys that we can go, wow, they're better than everybody else.
Yep.
And that is it. You aren't one of them. You aren't one of them, Chet Holmgren. You're probably not one of them. So maybe find your niche and you can have a long career. And that's my advice. That would be my advice to him. But he'll try and be Dirk.
All right, guys. We got some action going on in the NFL. Preseason is done. Regular season's on the way. Let's get into the huddle, guys. All right. We got Baker Mayfield winning the starting job with the Carolina Panthers. They got the Cleveland Browns coming up game 1 in a couple of weeks. What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Seven.
I had a feeling that Baker was going to get the starting role in Carolina. It was the right choice. Sam Darnold was a stupid fucking move. Like that was a dumb that was just a dumb fucking trade. That's all there is to it. His dumbass got hurt in preseason too.
Yep.
But Baker, this year will make or break Baker Mayfield's career. And I'm going to say it just like that because there was a lot of potential in that first round pick. And yes, his rookie year was phenomenal. And yes, last year he was playing with an injured shoulder for most of the year.
Yes.
I get both of those things. But his level where he is at, Heisman Trophy, first round draft, or first round pick, first round pick, number 1 overall pick. If he doesn't start producing more results this year, I'm saying he's got to go 40 touchdowns at least.
Ooh,
that's a lot.
God damn!
That's
the guy just wins games.
That's a lot considering what.
Well, I mean, we got to get some wins, but he's got to have a and I think okay, all right, I'll 35 touchdowns, and I would say at least 3,500 yards.
So you're saying if he goes 22-7, goes 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and throws for 3,500 yards, and the Panthers win 9 games, that's not a successful Baker Mayfield season? Because that sounds like a successful Baker Mayfield season.
That's
the only thing I say to that.
Not who he is.
The only thing I say to that, when you say 35 touchdowns, you're putting that man in the realm of Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers at that point.
Yeah, 35 is a lot.
Yeah, that's
but
a
you have to
lot.
look at the results that he has had as the first round pick. There's a lot of money tied in that name now, where he's at.
That's
and
true.
Teams are not going to want to pay that for somebody that's not going to give them first, number one pick, Heisman Trophy winner results.
And I'll give a point. For that because this is the best roster Brink has had if you go back and you look at it from the offensive standpoint. You got DJ Moore. You got DJ Moore.
McCaffrey.
You got Robbie Anderson. You just picked
McCaffrey.
up. You got McCaffrey. You just picked up a decent number 3 in Chenault from Jacksonville. That you do lack in the tight end department.
Laviska. Chenault. One of the best names in football. Sorry.
They are lacking the tight end, but if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, you got one of the best running backs out there. DJ Moore is no joke. Robbie Anderson can still stretch the field.
Okay.
Outside the running game, because he had a great running game in Cleveland. I give you that. But everywhere else, but you ain't gonna beat. I mean, Chubb is hard to beat, but Chubb and Hunt, that combo, that's hard to beat.
Here's what I will say. Christian McCaffrey being there is a valid point. So I'm going to amend it because I have a feeling that Carolina is going to rely on the run game a little bit more. So I will drop it to 30 touchdowns. 30 touchdowns, 3,500 yards. That is not unrealistic of the talent that is associated with Baker Mayfield. And if you want to go back and look at Baker Mayfield numbers in Cleveland.
And y'all know he's going to have a hell of a chip on his shoulder too.
What you're going to see.
Yeah.
2020, okay? 2020, Baker's best season. 26 touchdowns, 3,500 yards. So it's 3,563. He needs to be at least that. Or I'm not sure we see Baker Mayfield in the NFL in 3 years.
But two things though, Tony. That's not who they drafted him number 1 overall to be, for one, I don't think. I think that they drafted him to be a leader and to win games in any way, shape, or form possible. And obviously it was the Cleveland Browns who selected him number 1 overall. So let's not act like it was a great number 1 overall pick in general because the Browns picked him. So he doesn't go any other draft. Baker Mayfield does not go number 1 overall. I can see like 7, 8. He does not go number 1. I think the Browns drafted him to keep him. They thought that like something about the culture of their team they would rally behind Baker Mayfield because of all of his spark and all of his gusto and his moxie. One of my favorite words in sports, moxie. He's got a lot of moxie. But he does. And I get it. And people do follow him, but talent wise, that motherfucker ain't no 35 touchdowns. That is Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Jared Allen.
I dropped it down to 30.
Arm talent to 30.
I dropped it down to 30. Yeah.
That'll be his career high. If he throws 30 touchdowns, that will be his career high, I think.
He needs to throw because here's the thing. And here's what I pointed out.
30 touchdowns. He's in the MVP conversation with 30.
No. But 30 touchdowns. Look at this. That is 4 more than that golden season. Okay. So you're looking at 4 more touchdowns. Mm-hmm. We're adding an extra game into the season that they had.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 of those can come from game 17. Okay. So you're looking at 2 more touchdowns over 17 games. Realistically, 2 more touchdowns over 17 games. And 3,500 yards. Come on. With Christian McCaffrey as a run, I think 3,500 is still pretty realistic for him. Baker needs to retain any sort of ability to look like a number 1 QB and not fall into the Ryan Fitzpatrick, Nick Foles,
game manager type role,
Carson Wentz role of where he's a game manager. Teams bring him in for a year while they get their rookie ready. And for him to be a serious quarterback, he's got to produce this year.
I think that you're putting the wrong emphasis on produce though. If Baker Mayfield wins 13 games in Carolina, I don't give a fuck if he throws 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions and has 800 yards passing. If he wins 13 games and goes 13-4 as a starting quarterback, doesn't matter what his stats are. That is Baker Mayfield's impact. That is, if he wins games, I don't think he can win a Super Bowl. I don't think Baker Mayfield will ever win a Super Bowl. Okay. But at the same time,
Not with
if he
this
wins
roster.
if he wins 12 to 13
No.
games in Carolina, that's successful no matter what his statistics are.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'll tell you. Think about it this way. You know, we've been throwing the Miami Dolphins roster around a lot with different quarterbacks. I am telling you, with Baker Mayfield in that roster, that is an NFC championship team.
Ooh.
That's still tough.
I'm now keep in mind, I've thrown a lot of other quarterbacks in that role and put them in the Super Bowl. But I'm telling you, Baker Mayfield on that roster in Miami, they at least get to the NFC championship game.
Okay, so you got Gaskin, you got Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill, Gesicki, that offensive line, defense decent. And you're playing in the AFC East.
Oh, they are AFC East team. Okay,
yeah,
so
they're an AFC team.
Okay. I'll give you at least they can make the divisional round.
That's tough because you got Buffalo in that same. Ooh,
you have Belichick's defense.
Yeah, you got Belichick's defense, and you got AFC, and you got Baltimore, right? I mean, not Baltimore, Buffalo, and that defense is no joke too. So,
that's still 12. I would say 12-5, 11-6 team with Baker Mayfield in that team.
You put at
least 2 wins more than Tua. At least.
I think if you put a healthy Drew Lock on the Miami Dolphins, not a joke. I think if you put a healthy Drew Lock as starting quarterback,
I'm gonna do you one better. Davis Mills on that roster.
What Josie at?
I like Davis. I like Davis Mills. I really do. I like Davis Mills.
Where's Josie at when we need him?
Davis Mills' neck might not agree to the contract. His neck acts separately.
I mean, the neck has a mind of his own.
Davis Mills' neck is like Matt Carpenter's mustache. Like always the most important part of the picture.
Another thing that went down over the weekend, guys, Geno Smith got named the starter in Seattle. Bruh.
Placeholder.
I ain't touching maybe DK because he's got a little bit of a rapport with DK Metcalf, but in fantasy, I ain't touching nobody else. Maybe Kenneth Walker if Rashard Penny goes down, but Tyler Lockett?
Well, in a PPR league, you should absolutely be fucking with DK Metcalf.
Yeah, because he's gonna get targets.
He's gonna
get targets,
dude. But that's the first guy that Geno Smith is looking for.
The guy I'm fading, I'm just fading Tyler Lockett. I'm not going anywhere near in any draft. Nope.
Not really the down the seam laser throwing type. And that's Tyler Lockett's. See those deep balls.
Yep.
Do you think it's possible that Geno Smith loses the starting role if he does not win two of his first 5 games?
There isn't a goddamn snowball's chance in hell that Geno Smith is the starting quarterback of the Seahawks next year. Not a
Oh no, hell no.
No, I mean in this season. Do you think?
Oh no, because you got to give it up to Drew Lock.
Season?
Oh no, because you got to give it up because the person behind him is Drew Lock. You want Drew Lock piloting the ship?
I would rather have Drew Lock than Geno Smith.
I would 100% rather have Drew Lock than Geno Smith.
Dude, I'm not joking.
Oh, man.
Drew Lock has some arm talent. You know who Drew Lock reminds me of?
Who?
Drew Lock reminds me of Jay Cutler. Drew Lock is very Jay Cutler-ish. Where it's like he's dude, his arm talent is so ridiculous that he's almost like lackadaisical with it. It's just like, I don't really want to do this, but like I'll throw a 15-yard out on a button.
He's not a top 10. Drew Lock is not a top 15 quarterback. But Drew Lock is a better quarterback than Geno Smith.
Well, Drew Lock's like one of those guys that like when his hair gets messed up in the middle of the game, like he wants to fix it more than like making a first down. Like that's what Drew Lock's like attitude kind of.
I'm not a fan of either dude, and I don't think either dude will be on the roster after this season.
Well, I mean, Drew Lock went to Missouri, so it's really not, he doesn't have a whole lot of hope. But
he beat the odds just to be where he is now.
I think Drew Lock has a shot as the next Chase Daniel. He'll be a good backup quarterback, but I don't think he's going to be starter.
Somebody hold the clipboard. Yeah, and you just brought him up. Chase has made a lot of money being backup. Holding the clipboard.
But you don't want your backup to be you don't want your backup to be a star, though. That's the thing.
Right, that's true.
And Drew Lock wants to be a star. Drew Lock wants to be a star.
But he's not a star. He doesn't, and he won't be able to produce the results to be a star. Nope. So his best bet is a backup quarterback. That's how Drew Lock stays in the NFL.
You got to ask him. You got to ask him to swallow that ego. That's the price. Is he going to swallow that ego to be able to do that? That's probably not going to happen.
And one last thing, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G, reworked his contract. He's going to be with the 49ers for at least one more year. That just tells me your boy ain't ready. Trey Lance ain't ready. That's all that tells me.
No.
You think you see something else?
Nobody wanted Jimmy.
That could be it too. That could be it too.
You can't tell me.
That's it too. That could be it too.
You look. Oh, come on, Seattle.
True.
You can't tell me that Seattle, that somebody with Jimmy G's experience would not be, on paper, better use as a starting quarterback and placeholder, as Dan says.
Yeah.
In Seattle than Jimmy G.
Yeah, that could be it too. That could be it too. One of the two reasons.
Nobody wants Jimmy G.
Jimmy G is like a what's one of the men's suits brands that's really nice, like
Armani.
He's like an Armani Baker Mayfield. It's what Jimmy G is. He's like a soap opera Baker Mayfield.
The allure of Jimmy G existed because he spent so much time behind Tom Brady.
Right.
But now everybody knows that doesn't fucking matter.
No. It's just not there. It's just not there.
Yeah.
And it's not. And the injuries are there, and it's like nobody wants to touch him. He's a placeholder at this point. I think he has to.
I mean, even with that roster with Brandon Ayuk look like he's going to be on the come up. Deebo Samuel's back. That defense is going to be there.
Raheem Mostert, one of the best running backs in the NFL.
Well, Raheem is a Dolphin now.
Oh, he is. Okay, so that's when we were talking about the Dolphins offense earlier. I was trying to think of the running back. That's what happened.
Okay. It's Raheem Mostert.
Yeah. It was in my mind.
It's
fastest running back in the NFL.
There is some talent on that roster. I mean, Deebo Samuel, an electrifying to watch player.
I like some most
give you a lot of yards out of the backfield despite being a receiver.
Oh yeah,
which is great for I think it's great, but Jimmy G got exposed.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell too. Don't forget that.
And Trey Lance is the black Jordan Love.
Jordan Love is
black.
Yeah. Jordan Love literally
Jordan Love is black.
Are you serious? I thought he was a white guy. I mean, come on, Jordan Love is a pure white name. Come on.
He might be a tad lighter than.
He might be on a light.
Hold on.
I
swear to. Hold on. Wait, what? I swear to God, I thought he was a black guy. No, Oh, holy shit! Yeah, he is. Okay, so he's
DeAndre Ayton is like the black Dikembe Mutombo.
Okay, all right, I'll take the L on that one. I thought he was white.
Oh shit!
That's on me.
Shit!
Okay, so he's north. You know, Trey Lance is the California Jordan Love.
California Jordan Love. Oh man, but I just don't know, man. I mean, you could be right. Nobody would want him. But with his turnover history of turnovers in crucial moments of games, that could be it too. So we'll see.
Raw skills at quarterback, the raw tools to play quarterback are all there with Trey Lance. He checks every single box. Got a cannon, accurate arm,
yes,
run. It all connects up here. Tom Brady doesn't have all of those tools, guys. Tom Brady never had all those tools. Tom Brady didn't come out and they were like, oh my God, look at that guy whip the ball around. He's got incredible arm talent. No, it was up here completely that he did it with. And that's kind of what people are seeing. It's like, if you have the talent and you have the mind,
yes,
right, then it becomes a Patrick Mahomes type situation where you got both. Even obviously Brady and Josh Allen looks like he has that as well, the combination. But you just got you're not going to know until you get him. He's going to get baptized by fire. You got to stick him in there. All right.
So here's my question though. You say, it's not connected. And I could see that. Is it as a coaching issue? Because I know I've been very critical of Shanahan, but I'm going to ask objectively: do you think it's coaching issues
after 20-3?
Or do you think it's within
After 28-3, you have to be concerned.
Yeah.
I discount 28-3 though because you got the greatest living American.
Now that's true too. Coming back on you, that's true too.
And Belichick knew exactly what the Falcons were going to do in the second half. Exactly.
But maybe if the Falcons would have ran the ball a little bit more, they could have held on to that lead. I don't know. This thing.
Maybe Matt Ryan doesn't completely disappear like a ghost.
Yeah.
But but Dan, what do you think? I mean, is this a coaching thing, or where do you think it comes from, the disconnect?
I'm not saying that Trey Lance isn't that guy. I'm saying that we haven't been able to see that yet. Trey Lance hasn't played enough for us to see if it's going to take a second. He obviously doesn't have it off the bat. We can tell that he doesn't. He didn't step in. He's not Mac Jones where he's just stepping in. He's just reading but that's also a lot of Belichick too. But he's not that kind of guy. But like that doesn't mean he can't learn. It doesn't mean he can't learn.
And if he gets hurt, you have a good fallback. Well, you do not good, but you do have a fallback plan with Jimmy G.
And he's going to make.
He's an okay fallback.
Yeah.
He did all right as a backup quarterback in New England, so obviously it's not that bad.
He's just going back to what he was.
Trey Lance is going to make some plays this year that we're going to be like,
wow.
And maybe Jimmy G behind him, talking to him and helping him get better. Maybe that works out to his benefit, and we start to see some production out of Trey Lance. But my theory is still going to come back with him on the coaching. I think if you put Trey Lance in a better coaching situation, we might see something different.
Trey Lance is going to make some plays that make us go whoa, and he's going to make some plays that make us go ugh.
It's going to be a little bit of both with a full-time role.
Maybe don't throw that next time.
All right. We still don't have an intro, but I want to finish up the show by going into Dan's Dick of the Week. Dan, you got a Dick of the Week for us?
Yes, I do. I'm going to go ahead and go Nebraska head football coach Scott Frost.
I saw that coming.
You fucking motherfucker.
I saw that coming.
My God.
How? Okay, so I was, you know what makes it sting even more for me? I've been on this guy's bandwagon. Like we are famous in the last 20 years for just like taking coaches and just putting them in the grinder and just pressuring them down. And then we just fire them because they didn't do good enough for what we thought we should be. Right. And I was like, all right, we're going to give Frost some time. This motherfucker, dude, hold my beer, guys. I'll just, you know what? You're going to give me a shot. I'm going to completely ruin it. I'm going to completely fucking ruin it, dude. One score games. And for some reason, it's like he goes in at halftime and literally just takes a shit in one of the players' locker and just walks out. That's what it looks like. It looks like he just goes in there and insults one of their mothers for being a whore. And then just walks out. That's what it looks like happens, dude. Their first to second half, I don't know if he can't properly because he was such a good player. I think it's an issue for him. He doesn't know why they can't do what he did. Does that make sense? That's why most really good players are never good coaches, is because he doesn't understand why they can't do it. And it comes out, whether he says it or not, it comes out in his attitude. And I don't think that his players are 100% behind him. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
And I think they easily lose faith in him because they think he's a fucking self-righteous prick, which he probably is. And let's be honest, probably is. And that's and they actually handed the play calling responsibilities over to Mark Whipple, who got Tony. You read the article. You sent me the article. Who left? What was it? His old job was, I think it was Mississippi State or something like that. He got kind of ran out of town because he said he compared his treatment of something with his players and slavery. Was that the thing, or was it?
Oh yeah. I remember that now. I remember
that. Yeah.
Yeah. He had to go after
rape. That's what it was.
He had to go after that.
He said that his players were getting raped on calls or something like that.
He had to go after that
times. Like he didn't know that it was like maybe not a good idea to use that in a football sense.
He had to go after that for real.
And then you got our head coach, who was it? God, I can't think of his name right now. Guy from the '90s, Nebraska, beat up women. That doesn't really narrow it down in Nebraska. But
I was gonna say that's you're
really narrow it down to Lawrence Phillips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lawrence Phillips once broke into Scott Frost's apartment while they were playing together at Nebraska, drug his girlfriend down 3 flights of stairs and smashed her head off of a trash can while Scott Frost watched this whole thing happen. Okay. Oh, guys, I can go on with the stories. I got lots of good Nebraska stories. They're ridiculous. And that, dude, it's been ran like Fulmer from Varsity Blues.
Mm-hmm.
That's Scott Frost.
Well, we'll run down.
Sorry, that's Tom Osborne, but that's but yeah, that's how they run it.
Well, we'll run down the great tales of hashtag Walmart and trailer parts in Nebraska on our next episode. 7, who's your dick of the week?
My dick of the week is the guys that were involved in the Commanders shooting, or the shooting of Commanders running back Brian Johnson Jr.
Yeah.
Definitely thinking about that guy. Hope he's, it seems like everything's going to be okay. They're even saying now that he might be back this season.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened? I haven't heard this.
2 guys attempted robbery, and he got shot a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
They fired multiple rounds at him.
Sean Taylor-esque.
Yeah.
Robbing his house? They were just robbing his house, right?
No, actually, they were robbing him. I think it was, if I remember correctly, he was leaving an event, wasn't he?
Okay. I think he was.
He was leaving. He was leaving
story.
Something, because it was like, if you go on to Twitter, the Minneapolis, because this happened in, the DC police posted pictures of the suspects and the vehicle that they were in. And all of that, but man,
fuck those guys.
That's just,
you said Brian Johnson Jr.?
Yeah, the running back for the Commanders.
That's not AC/DC Brian Johnson's son, right? It's not.
No, it's a black guy.
Okay. Oh,
I mean,
it's a progressive world.
Brian Johnson. I mean, he's the lead
Talk
singer
like
of
Brian
AC/DC.
Johnson Day. Yeah. Will, who's your dick?
What's
up with your dick, Will?
Real quick, dick of the week goes to from me goes to the University of Alabama. Really, your week 1 college opponent, week 1,
Colgate,
Utah State.
Utah State.
Tune-up game.
Utah State. Really?
Tune-up game.
Really? You have
Nick Saban
Ohio
doesn't get a
State.
hard game for his first game of the season.
You have Ohio State, and granted, this ain't the same Notre Dame, but at least you have Ohio State taking on Notre Dame week 1. You have the University of Alabama going ranked number 1, going up against Utah State.
Will,
really?
Weirdly, they are doing Utah State a gigantic favor. If you look into,
yeah, they are, because Utah State's getting paid a bunch of money to get their.
I did say Alabama. Let me see what else is here. Oh, if you didn't want to give it to them, we could definitely give it to Florida.
Will, you can give it to whoever you want to. We're not trying to take your dick. We
definitely give it to Florida, but
we're not trying to take your dick.
But
we are strongly supporting you having your own dick.
I don't want to take that big black mamba. I'm good.
It's like
I just hate the fact. I just hate the fact that you have a team like this, and I get it. Attendance is going to go to a money at a school. That's fine. I understand, but it just pisses me off that you have the number 1 team in the country going to give us
rolling motherfucking tide.
Utah State, and Stephen A is just going to go crazy on ESPN First Take with his Roll Tide. Man, shut the hell up.
Will,
shut the hell up.
If Utah State pulls an upset,
that'd be awesome if they did.
You're going to be my dick week for a month. When you were bagging on Alabama for the gimme and they lost 31-28.
That might be the greatest upset ever.
Utah is a beautiful, beautiful state. They do not have any good football teams, but there's only like 1,000 people that live in the whole state. So
that's true.
Can you imagine?
That's true.
No,
that's
it's
true.
More than.
Real quick, somebody sent me something that I wanted to show real quick. Look at that, y'all.
Yeah. Damn. It's gonna get weird.
It's gonna get really weird.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your hands. Please keep your hands and feet inside the freak show at all times. 2 of our players bite now. can get.
It's gonna be the Lake Show for sure.
Oh yeah. All
What if
right,
they just
guys.
about win 65 games?
All right, man. Doubt it. But we'll see.
I just hope they finish above 500 this year.
Yeah, they're gonna get to the first round. They're gonna get to the play-in.
They'll make the playoffs.
They'll make the play. They'll get to the play-in. They'll get to the playoffs and they get
They
bounced.
still got that one guy, 7. That one dude. Remember
That one dude didn't get him to the playoffs last year.
that one guy. You remember that? Where's number 6?
The one that thinks he's as good as Michael Jordan.
The Legoat. Well, he knows he's better than Jordan. When I
The phony goat.
Phony goat.
Phony goat.
Phony goat.
If Skip Bayless says he's the phony goat, then he's the phony goat, sir.
Phony goat.
Respect Skip Bayless and how much professional basketball he played.
I'm gonna have to get on him about
Professional anything he did.
I'm gonna have to get on him one day for all the stupid stuff he says. This man is actually said the Dallas Cowboys are going to the NFC Championship game.
He hasn't said that this year. He's optimistic about the playoffs, but that's about it.
No, they're not.
Will,
They're
if you
not going to.
He's actually. I watch Undisputed every morning. He's actually pretty realistic about their prospects right
They're
now.
not going to the
years
NFC
past,
Championship
yes, he was
game.
fucking blind.
They're
No.
not going to the NFC. Ain't no way.
He'll
He
get
took
out
that.
the divisional round.
He took that Madden simulation and just ran with it. Just ran with it. Hey, look, I'm a Saints fan, but I don't think the Saints are getting to the NFC championship game. I don't see either team getting there, to be honest with you. And I love my Saints, but I got to be realistic, head over heart. All right, guys, what do you guys have coming up here on Pinfall Stream before we got here for the night?
We are going to be covering in more depth Sports Report After Dark on Thursday. We will be talking about the MLB players unionizing, and probably a couple of other things. And we're definitely going to have at least one guest, probably a few on Thursday night. 30 Reasons to Live. If you search that playlist on Spotify, that is something that I created. It is the 3rd season of First Generation Dad, along with some music connected to each episode. It's a great playlist to go through, work on your mental health. Short episodes of me talking along with long episodes of good music.
Sports Report After Dark on Thursdays.
10 p.m. Eastern.
10 p.m. Eastern. Tony just went over some of the actual facts that we will start in. But if you guys haven't seen the show, literally it's just a grab bag of like Magic 8-ball, whatever the fuck comes up. So it's actually a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Be there.
It is not uncommon for us to go for 2 hours and not realize we have been talking for 2 hours.
For 2 hours.
That's a true statement.
Me too. That happens to me too.
I was interviewed for a radio gig and they asked me, like, I went through and watched one of your After Dark episodes. You guys went for 2 hours, didn't take a commercial break or anything. You guys were just talking. It was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Last week we went over American Pie, the trilogy, and how that entire thing is bullshit.
You went over how you want this. You went over how you wanted to bang Stifler's mom.
Well, I mean, everybody did, and then
who don't?
And
Finch.
Jennifer Coolidge knocked on my door right now. Was like, "Hey, man," I'd be like, "Let's go." Let me put my face in your titties. Like I want this, but like I want to put my face in your titties.
Seven. That would be like opening a grilled cheese sandwich. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly. All right, you guys. Thank you for being here with us tonight. KW, appreciate you being here for what you could be. Dart Lizard, thank you for coming through. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
We are out of here. You guys have a great week.
Free Fernando.
Fernando
Tatis.
And we'll see you.
Let him be free.
Free him. And we'll see you next week.
Which should be legal. Fernando.
And we'll see you next. We'll see you next week here on the Sports Report podcast. Everyone have a great week and take care. Later, guys.
Free Fernando. Fernando Tatis, free him. You're not like that.
Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.